June 11th, 1920. U.S. Republican Party officials convene in a private hotel room to select their presidential candidate. The incident gives rise to the phrase smoke-filled room after Calvin Coolidge rips some fat cotton on his jewel. Welcome to The Revisionists. I'm Brian Flynn.
I'm Zach Powers.
And finally welcoming back to the show, the wonderful Miriam Moreno, everyone.
Hello.
Miriam, thank you for being here.
They said it would never happen again.
Yeah.
Specifically these last 2 weeks.
Oh, listeners, yeah, we've been sort of off the radar for a little bit, recharging the old tanks, and then scheduling is hard when you're grown adults with other things going on.
It's been a chaotic time.
Yes.
I've been traveling a lot, seeing these United States.
How are these United States?
In terms of the health of its democracy, poor. They look fine.
What about the general health?
Yeah.
Also poor, I think. The healthcare system seems still bad.
Worse than the democracy.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
But I went to Portland and New York, and they both were nice looking. New York had a lot of garbage, but the buildings were still like I remembered them.
Did you see any giant rats?
I saw a rat by the Met at Central Park. He seemed like a normal rat.
Oh,
that's
an
rat. Uptown ass rat right there.
Yeah,
that's a rat tattoo.
Yeah, he had a little Rolex he was wearing as a belt.
Well, that's good.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and
actually.
He had to kind of curl in to tell the time, and then he was clearly late for some kind of meeting.
Oh, so it's like a yuppie rat a little bit. I've started to dislike this rat the more I learn about him.
No, he works for a nonprofit.
Oh, okay.
That's worse.
Wait.
He's a white savior. Was it a white rat or a gray rat?
It was kind of brownish.
Oh, well, okay.
I mean, look, I don't understand, and I don't want to get into the colorism of rats.
I wonder if there is colorism among rats. Is that an episode already?
I think I don't know that it falls within our purview.
So I'm
You're
pretty
looking
sure
for the rat visionist.
Yeah,
this is our rat review show.
In the movie Willard, I'm pretty sure the good rat Socrates was a white rat, and the evil rat Ben was a gray rat. So sorry, Willard, you canceled. You're canceled for that, and for Michael Jackson wrote a song for the original version of that movie, so you're canceled for that too.
That was also the inspiration for the Willard album.
Yeah.
Sorry, now I'm picturing the end of the Thriller video, but when Michael Jackson turns around, he has rat teeth instead of the cat eyes.
And a tail.
Yeah. Listeners, if you're new to the show, or we just haven't been around for 2 months, what we do is we pick a rat, we talk about its good qualities, some ways it can improve, and then we give a final rat rating, whether we want to, keep that rat, pet that rat, or avoid that rat. Anyway, we haven't lost a beat. We actually talked about history or something. Last time we talked about Caspar Hauser, which was, I'll say it, probably the most unhinged episode we've ever recorded because of my fuck-ups. But Sammy Anser just trooped through it, and the alternate history somehow won out. I don't remember much of it. He was the original horse boy. I do remember that.
Sure. We mostly improvised it as we went. And it was fine, I guess. People voted for it. Which is not a mark of something being good.
No, that's not true at all.
But it happened, and we have to respect it for now.
Yeah, for now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, no, listeners, things are grim. But they could be grimmer. So
Oh, that's
been
comforting.
promised.
keep that
Yeah.
under your hat.
Don't worry. Things might be bad, dear audience, but probably they'll get worse.
Look,
Most
no,
definitely.
no,
It's like
I mean,
100%.
listeners, there is a version of you in an alternate universe where like things are much worse. I don't know. This isn't comforting. There's an alternate version. There's many alternate versions of you where you're doing much better than you are right now. Also, to be fair,
Yeah, for sure. There's
anyway.
one where Paul Newman's your dad. That's cool.
And where we have healthcare in one.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Not the same one, unfortunately.
Yeah. They have
The Paul
to split
Newman-
it up. They can't make it too good.
Yeah, the Paul Newman one's kind of rough.
And also in the Paul Newman one, he's evil Paul Newman. Paul Oldman.
Oh, I thought you could say Paul Booman.
That too. He's a ghost. He's an evil
That's
ghost.
a different. There's again, quantum mechanics is complicated. We say it every episode. We are approaching the end of our miniseries on con artists. Just a couple more left, including next time, which is going to be very fun. We talked about it when we first proposed this miniseries, and I'm very much looking forward to that one. But tonight we are talking about Curtis Howe Springer. Miriam, you're doing the actual history. And
Yes.
Zach, you're doing the alternate.
How Springer? I don't even know what Springer.
All I think of as Springer is like Steve. You guys remember
Jerry?
Jerry Springer? Yeah.
Jerry?
That was his security guard. And then he got his own show.
Oh, yeah.
The Wilco show.
Oh yeah, that was
Some of you went outside in the summer, and all I did was watch TV. So.
Yeah. The security guard to TV show Pipeline was big at the time. Steve's
So big.
security guard was Andy Milonakis.
And he went on to win an Oscar. So
Yeah.
what does that say?
Oh man.
Do you guys remember when you found out Andy Milonakis was not 13 years old? That was crazy.
Yeah, we all remember that dark day.
Yep.
Like, what? This isn't a child? That's
We were
weird.
reeling from 9/11, and little did we know something worse was around the corner. Andy Milonakis gate.
Yeah. What a weird little guy. He's still on I think he's on TikTok now, and he looks exactly the same. He must have some sort of disease where he's a baby.
Yeah.
Like baby disease.
Benjamin Button disease, but it's just like the same stage. It doesn't move forward or backward.
He was born 170 pounds. Benjamin's buttons.
His mom is dead, so dead.
Yeah. He annihilated that.
Andy, if you're listening, Andy, I hope your mom isn't actually dead.
Well, we all hope she's not dead, Zach, but she probably is.
I mean,
Yeah.
With a son like that. You know.
Wait, how old is like Andy Milonakis? Because
Well,
I didn't
I feel
realize
like
he
he was
wasn't
like
13.
40 when he started getting big. So now
Oh,
he's
no.
When he
75.
started. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying physically big.
Okay, no, now he's 46. So
He's 46.
Yeah.
He's 46.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an age where your mom could still be alive.
Oh my god, the first Google search is what
Not if you're
disease
me.
does Andy Milonakis have? Oh no. He has congenital growth hormone deficiency that gives him the appearance and voice of a child. So he is Benjamin's buttons.
Oh, I just thought he was youthful. Well,
We were like, what's your skincare routine, Andy?
I have a disease.
Yeah. I have no excessive, maybe, hormones. I don't really know what it is. Maybe he never got the big hormones. The ones
yeah,
you get
he
when
only
you're-
got the
you get big.
Yeah, but we all remember when we got that package. Finally, my big hormones.
My
got
big
here.
hormones
Yeah.
and my letter from Hogwarts. came
you
in.
get them. I think Zoltar comes and gives you your big hormones.
Perfect package.
Ironically, a mention of Harry Potter being mentioned with, hormone therapy. Fuck J.K. Rowling, everyone.
Zoltar's not
yeah.
from Harry Potter, just
No,
for reference.
but the
Zoltar's from-
Hogwarts letter.
Oh, I
That
missed
guy-
that.
That guy's
Yeah.
from Big, right?
Yeah. He's the little fortune-telling machine man.
But it's also like a real machine, or is
There's
it just
probably
made for the movie?
I'll bet the machine in real life has a different name, but I'll bet it's based on a real machine, and then they change the name to protect the innocent.
The child who lives inside of Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't
Chat-
want to slander the real machine by saying that it bigified children.
It bigified children. I mean, if it showed up now, it would probably say it's indoctrinating the kids
Yeah.
to getting big and getting HPV soon or something.
Or
Yeah.
like every kid would use it, and it also like it tracks all of their movements and their
Mhm.
blood type. There is no in between, right?
It data mines. Yeah.
I just want an innocuous toy, please. But Miriam, whenever you're ready,
Okay.
take it away.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Curtis, are we pronouncing it Howie or Howe?
I've been saying
Just
how.
Oh, okay. So Curtis Howe Springer most notably made spas in an establishment he founded and named Zizix.
Zizix is how I've.
Like physics, like physics the science, but not at all.
It's ZZYX, ZZYZX.
So
Yeah.
figure it out, America.
He said, I believe he wanted to be the last word in like personal
medicine.
care and medicine. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
For anyone Googling him, he was a smoking hot doctor. And by smoking hot, I mean absolute trash bag of a person with
He
a
looks like
crazy
Bell,
haircut.
kind of.
Yeah, he totally does. He considered himself the last medicine man. And historically, medicine men were freelance crackheads who gave people leeches and opium for their pain.
As opposed to full-time employed crackheads.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
go in and punch
Not-
the crack clock, 9 to 5.
Crack rocks.
And you say it's a living.
It's a living.
Or
And it's-
if you've already taken the crack, you probably slur that a little more.
Taking the crack.
Yeah.
Zach has never seen crack before. I mean, we shouldn't see crack, but like
Yeah.
it sounds more like you've never seen crack.
Crack should be not seen and not heard. Yeah.
Yeah. Crack should be
Done,
not-
done and not seen.
Done and done.
They don't
I
call
had
it
a-
crack because it's like one of the Rice Krispie mascots.
Oh, is it crackle?
Yeah.
Short for crackle is short for crack.
Yeah, they had
What's-
to change it because it was one of those old-timey cereals that had cocaine in it.
So it seems like crackle represents crack and pop, easy to transfer pot, like it's right there. But what's
Sure.
snap?
Snap.
Ooh.
That's got to be cocaine.
Oh, I was going to say H.
Ecstasy.
Calling it H is like so streets.
Thank you.
Yeah, horse, Brian. We're
Yeah, pop is horse. Well, I did have to look up medicine man because I wasn't sure what that was, but not he was a medicine man, but not to be confused with an indigenous medicine man who were
Yes.
educators, historians. They passed on traditions and tribal wisdom, very respected in their community.
Mhm.
This man was trash. So not a real medicine man. He was born in 1896 from Birmingham, Alabama. Just like Forrest Gump, our hero Tom Hanks. Wikipedia said under children, just at least 2. So this guy had some sex.
at least 2 sex.
With
Yeah,
that hair.
At least
like-
2 sex.
Unless they were twins, in which case maybe it was just the one sex.
Oh my god, poor guy. That's why he was a con artist. He was a high school dropout and just went bouncing around schemes to schemes. A real fuckboy of his time, if you will. But we
He
didn't
used
have
to-
Twitter and in 1930s to check any bad press on Curtis. So
Big fan of Williams Jennings Bryant.
Yeah.
Spoke before some of his campaigns for some reason.
William, what's his name?
William Jennings Bryant. He was a presidential candidate, an influential politician, and also in the Scopes monkey trial, he was the guy who was like, evolution isn't real.
Yeah.
Scopes monkey trial. Oh my god. I have so much to learn. Evolution isn't real, so I'm on this guy's side.
Just a spoiler for the Scopes monkey trial, there are no actual monkeys involved.
Yeah.
So
I was wondering.
It's about 40% less fun than it sounds.
Yeah. So anyway, he was a scam artist. He just did several things, scamming his way through the Midwest. He did travel through the Midwest. He faked a lot of credits, like being a dean of an accredited college, and said he was he said he represented fake universities, like made up things. And again, no Twitter. People couldn't verify these universities online. But he traveled around being a medicine man.
One of them was his former university, which had since shut down. He said he was the dean of.
Oh, yeah. What was it called?
I can't remember what it was called, but it was like an automotive university.
Yeah, he went to like car school.
Oh,
it's not called car school. It's called like
no. Car School is an 80s comedy that we all know and love.
Is it?
I mean, it is now.
No. It could have been.
I mean, it might be.
Oh, geez.
Steve Gutenberg in Car School sounds right.
That sounds like a real thing. It sounds like it would happen. I just recently like 5 years ago, I saw this movie called Blind Date with Bruce Willis, and it was like so 80s. And I was like, who made this fucking movie? It's so weird. Like, what a concept. Did you guys ever see that?
No.
That's like the most 80s
first time
Blind Date starring Bruce Willis.
Yeah. It's the most 80s thing I've ever heard.
I'm guessing this was maybe pre-Die Hard.
Oh, definitely. I started actually listening to a podcast about Bruce Willis taking over Idaho, or a small town in Idaho where he lives. And he's just a fucking bag of shit, this guy.
I mean, I would have guessed that based on nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, he just like basically bought up this town and was like, I'm doing you a favor. And everyone's like, we liked our lives. If you could just leave. And he didn't.
I'm sure they're doing free Bruno concerts every night.
It might be.
Well,
let's see.
Bruce, we wish you luck with your failing mental health.
That really sucks. What a bummer.
Oh, that is also true.
Brian, you're a monster. I can't believe you brought that up. Let's see. He started, so back to Curtis. He started giving lectures about healthy foods and also somehow dabbled into being a minister. He made supplements and recipes to give people that claim to cure cancer and give you energy and all of these things. Not unlike Kim Kardashian now with her food suppressing lollipops, which I have not tried, but when I'm ready to go all into my eating disorder, I will buy them.
At first I was like, you were saying that like we would expect you to have tried that terrible thing that she
as
the
a
terrible,
girl on
irresponsible
Instagram
thing.
I definitely should have by now.
Yeah,
for sure. Let's see, he was looking to get into radio to spread his message. He was mostly blocked from doing so by big stations. And then when he did lectures, he would ask for donations from people attending his lectures. And then he'd also charge like $25 for psychoanalysis, for a psychoanalytics course, or just like analyzing you. He had no right to.
No.
He's a high school dropout and maybe a car school dropout. So
I don't think they teach
mechanic.
psychiatry in car school.
Love that. One of my favorite songs in Greece, Car School Dropout.
Car school dropout.
I could see that in Grease 2 for sure. That's got big Grease 2 energy.
That's got big Grease 2 energy. Ugh, I saw that and it made me feel like, have you guys ever seen that sequel to The Wizard of Oz? It's called
Return to Oz, I think
Return to Oz.
Yeah.
That's what Grease 2 made me feel like. like I was watching Return to Oz because it was so weird, and these fucking 40-year-olds were in school still.
Mm. So
And
just
if you-
like
If you
every
watch
show
Grease
that
now-
takes place in high school.
Yeah, actually, yeah. If you watch Grease now, all of like Danny Zuko's friends, they visibly look 50 at least, and you're like, what the fuck? They couldn't find anyone hot.
That's the issue. If it was like a Silver Fox sort of situation, it'd be like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just what people were like in the 50s. Everybody had like the opposite of Andy Milonakis disease.
They aged so poorly and so fast.
Mhm.
I think it's because we didn't have these fun supplements we do now, like chicken nuggets.
Mhm.
I would love the history of the chicken nugget. Actually, I feel like that's adding.
I
That's
feel like
making me look like a baby from all the hormones.
Future episode idea? The chicken nugget episode?
Yeah, historical foods. Oh, that's a good one.
I would love to dig into that and just be horrified to find out like the chicken nugget is somehow tied in with like
Factory
colonialism.
farming?
Yeah,
You're
well,
gonna
yeah,
be
factory farming.
sad. You're gonna be sad to discover. Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
That's-
or like
that's
somehow big pharma.
it.
You know,
Oh,
that would be interesting.
Well-
Chicken nuggets.
chicken nuggets
bread.
are a byproduct of the manufacture of OxyContin.
Oh god, that'd be hilarious. Honestly, you could do that. And I've heard like sliced bread isn't as old as we think, so that's interesting to me.
Yeah. The Sackler family was actually named after their patriarch always carried around a sack because he was the Hamburglar.
This is important historical food stuff. Write this down, guys. I think this is gonna be big. Let's see. So this guy is going around towns in the Midwest, basically, selling these medications that are phony, supplements, and then giving lectures on how to live healthy and clean. And then in 1934, the FDA tried to come after him and discredit him. They fact-checked him and tried to explain to people that he was not legit and faked his credentials. This did not work. People were just like, yeah, okay, thanks. And then just continued to con. So
I wish I could say I'm surprised, but I've
Yeah.
lived through the last
3
decade.
years.
Yeah.
Even the last 3 years.
Yeah.
People are idiots. And then I found this out. So the General Mining Law of 1872 basically says anyone can go to public land and claim that there are minerals to mine, like gold, platinum, bitcoins, and then it's basically free.
There's bitcoins in them there hills.
I actually still don't know how people mine for Bitcoin, so I thought I'd throw it in there.
They do it by chopping down a bunch of rainforest.
You have your fact checkers, right? After
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how people don't get charged, but I'm sure the government gets some of whatever they mine. So basically you claim this land and then the government's like, okay, and then you get stuff. Like, what the fuck? I would love to pull that con today.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean,
He got so much land doing it too.
Oh yeah, he got a ton of land.
He got 12,800 acres.
Yes, a lot. Which
Yeah.
they put it in under my research, which is like the first YouTube video that popped up. But they said it was like 8 mile by 2 miles. Is that right?
oh god,
Something like that. 51.8 square kilometers, but I don't know what that means in American.
What the hell is kilometers?
8 miles by 3 miles. Yeah, that's
Oh,
what it
I was
says.
close. And I've walked a
speaking
mile.
of Eminem,
and that's
right?
a lot. Yeah, speaking of Eminem, this guy's everywhere.
Mhm.
Um,
But I was gonna say his radio days before this, when he was like doing stuff in Chicago and selling shit on the radio. It's worth noting, A, he was a big fan of the New Deal, so I guess that's good. And B, you could find audio of him and he sounds like he's got a voice for like he has a good radio voice. He's very much like a big. If you have time to look up a sample of Curtis House Springer speaking, he has like a very affected salesman kind of way of speaking that is worth hearing.
He's also got a face for radio.
Yeah, well, that's true. And a face for fucking once or maybe twice.
Exactly. Okay, so all this to say, the general mining law. In 1944, he filed a mining claim in the Mojave Desert. How do you guys say Mojave?
Yeah,
it should be
like
Mojave.
Mojave.
Which got him a lot of land for free. Now we know 8 by 2 miles. And then when you do this, you're technically supposed to mine for minerals. But he ended up not doing that at all. And he ended up building spas. And he hired unhoused folks off of Skid Row. And fun fact, I had no idea Skid Row had been around this long, from like 1944. Which is crazy, and that's something I would really love to delve into on another time. So he set up some pools that he claimed were natural hot springs, and it was actually pools set up with a boiler system. I think that's iconic.
Yeah.
Like, what a scam.
He made it into the shape of a cross, if I remember correctly, a giant
cross. Is that
cross.
true? I didn't know that.
That's kind of awesome. Remains. I think the remains are still there. If you ever passing through Zizix.
They are still there. Now they're reclaimed by something else, but some of the buildings that he made are definitely still there. They're falling apart, but let's see. So he set up the boilers to make people think that there was natural hot springs, and it made me wonder about Glenwood Springs. Where's that water coming from? It also had a church, a printing plant, and a place to make supplements, and a radio station. And then they also had mud baths. None of this was legit. Mud was just mud. And then he claimed there was like crystals in the mud and clay, and that was not real. He got away with this scam for 30 years and somehow tax-free, which is insane. Wow. But if you think about Christianity, they've gotten away with it for like 2,000 years. So
yeah,
a little longer. Since he technically never owned the land, the government finally stepped in when he started selling off some of the land that he was basically living under for mining purposes. He was selling it for people to make houses and for his followers so they could live there with him. And he got taken to court eventually after 30 years. And in court, he made claims that the mud and the waters and the crystals were all the result of mining. But then the government brought in chemists to test the products. And they were like, no, it's just mud, clay, and rocks. You're a liar and you're lying. And he was like, I will pay the fee. And they said, no, just get out of here. Like, he didn't even have to pay a fine. He just got charged with a 60-day sentence. I am livid at knowing this. Every day I learn of another man who got away with a crime. Yeah. And it's infuriating.
Another white man with bad hair.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it.
Oh no. Yeah.
We all knew he was white. We all did.
And I get the impression like a lot of people who went there like felt like they had positive results, and might have been partially placebo, but it might have also been like this guy was like a teetotaler, and like he was like, oh, sleep a lot and eat like decently, and also sit in a jacuzzi, and like, yeah, that makes you feel all right. Like even if there's not magic crystals in it, it's still gonna make you feel sort of okay.
Like this would have been a great non-scam. Like if he was just like, hey, there's just some fun water and put some clay, act like a child. That's fun too. But instead he's like, no, there's magic and it's going to get shut down. What? But yeah, he was charged with a 60-day sentence. And then he died peacefully and without much consequence in Vegas in 1988. And he had some kids. So what an asshole.
Wait, you said he died in 1988?
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's like very old because he was born in 96.
Yeah. I mean, it's also just like, I know, like, hearing the story, it's like, okay, 1940s, right? But then it's like, oh yeah, that's fucking the year I was born. Oh man.
You were born. Yeah. Oh my God, me too. Totally forgot my birth year. Yeah, it makes me really angry and like I should start a scam because it seems like there's not much consequence to a scam.
No, I mean, if it's like a fun, like, I don't, well, here's the thing. Anyone who sells fake medicine, they're probably somehow responsible for someone dying at some point.
Yeah, if I
So
wouldn't claim it cures cancer, I'd be like,
Right.
it makes you feel good.
I was about to
Yeah.
say, like, he didn't hurt anyone, but I was thinking of, like, the mud and, like, the nice vacation. And, like, you could sell, like, something called magic mud now and, like, probably just get, like, a shit ton of social media traffic from it.
Oh, absolutely. I almost bought some that I was targeted on TikTok with. It was called like red Australian mud, and it was like you put it on your face and it's really red, and then they were like, now I don't have to wear makeup because my skin is so nice. And I've looked into it for about like 3 hours and I almost bought it, but I didn't because I was like, this seems sketchy. But yeah, I would have absolutely fallen for this shit. So
I mean,
boiled water pools. Ugh.
I feel like mud for like skincare is one thing. Mud for like internal medicine is totally different. But also like I know you said you were looking at it for 3 hours. I was definitely picturing like middle of the night. Like Jacob walks into the living room and it's just like the blue computer light.
Red computer
It's definitely
Red
like
computer light.
yeah, it's definitely like 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. type of thing. It's never appropriate times.
Oh man, Google should shut down between 11 and like 4 a.m.
For me, it should be Reddit. Reddit should shut down. It's
Reddit
so
should
bad.
shut down in general.
Yeah. There's a subreddit for everything, and there was definitely one for that clay mud face thing.
Miriam, thank you. Zach, whenever you're ready.
Yeah. So a lot of that was pretty accurate. I want to talk about some of the details of Zizix and how it eventually got shut down. You know, this was the 1960s, man. It was the time of rock and roll. It was the time of free love. It was the time of Vietnam.
Oh,
civil rights.
Okay, so like three good things and then one bad thing thrown in the middle.
Sure, there were other bad shit. I'm sure a lot of bad shit happened in the 60s. The Manson family. But so Curtis Housebrenger was, you know, he's been called the king of quacks. And in the quack community, like this guy was going too far, right? Like he started his own town. He had devoted followers living in that town all the way outside of Los Angeles. You know, at the end, Interstate 15 in the middle of nowhere, he had this colony he'd set up called Zizix with all these people. And some of the other people in the industry,
Like people are made up.
It's just the people.
People.
yeah. Some of the people in the quack industry, you know, they weren't taking kindly to this. So the powers that be in the fucking fake medicine world, in the fake therapy, fake medicine, fake wellness, you know, world, decided to step in and do something. So they got a young captain named Miscavige, and they sent him a young man up and coming, and his superiors said, you're going to take a transport down Interstate 15, and at the end of it, you're going to find Curtis Housebrenger. He's lost his mind. He set up a colony. You and a small group are going to go, and you're going to take care of this guy. And so they gave him this mission. It was deep in the throes of the drugs and the wildness of the late 60s. And they sent him down the road, down Interstate 15 with a small group. and he ran into on the way a number of characters. He ran into came upon a town full of people with eating disorders, disgusting, like horribly thin and dying. And there they found Dr. Oz, who was reveling in the misery and just trying to get a good day to surf in.
Now Senate candidate Oz.
Now Senate candidate
No
Oz.
way.
Yeah.
Springing his diet pills. Whatever's inside of them, spraying that on the local population and just letting them go fucking crazy. They continued down and they found a show for the troops, a goop show, where they showed off, their scented candles that smelled like vaginas and their bullshit minor electrotherapy cures. And
that's fucking wild.
And when Goop tried to leave the Mojave Desert, people were clinging to the helicopter, trying to get their vagina candles, trying to get their health wellness cures. It was chaos. It was a wild time. Partway through, they found a caravan of people, and it was a tense time. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know who to trust. Were these people in the wellness community? Were they just like fucking eating chocolate or some shit? And one of them reached for something, and bam, the gunfire began. They shot them all down. But after the chaos,
they had guns.
Yeah, they had guns. David Miscavige definitely has guns.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And after they found out what they were looking for, like they thought it was bread, but they found out it was actually Cato bread. It was Atkins friendly bread. They'd shot them for nothing. This was the chaos of the time. And eventually they made it to Zizix the whole time, hearing these dispatches, these radio programs from Curtis Howe Springer that are suddenly making more and more sense as they go deeper into this horrible, twisted path. And they get there, and Dennis Hopper's there, and he's like, are they going to say he's a wise man? Are they going to say he's a just man?
Dennis Hopper, is that the acid guy?
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely did acid.
Oh, he did a ton of acid.
He was like a filmmaker.
Yeah, he was the villain in Speed. He was in Blue Velvet.
That's some other first credit you can think of.
Blue Velvet.
He's the villain in Speed.
He's in other
Waterworld. I would know him from Waterworld.
He's in a movie, Apocalypse Now. And yeah. But they got there, and they saw this community that had been overtaken by the teachings of Springer. And while they stayed there for a while, eventually, despite his strange radio ramblings and the weird appeal he had over people, the time came to do the deed. And Miscavige served him tax evasion papers and said, "You got to get out of here."
Fucking damn it.
And so he did. And then he lived the rest of his life in Las Vegas. But that was the journey to the heart of quackery that they took in the late 60s. And we all learned a valuable lesson. And then Dennis Hopper made Easy Rider after that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Zach, thank you.
Yeah.
How long was that drive? How many years was that drive?
Well, the original cut, it's about 3 hours, but in the redo, it's about 4 hours.
Oh, because it adds that interminable French plantation
the part
dinner
of the
scene.
France. Yeah.
Ugh.
I cut that from my version. It's not worth. We don't have.
No. Thank you, Zach.
Yep.
Listeners, before we move on, Miriam, your Instagram channel, Sweet Nothings TV, all one word, is great. Not no dots.
No
we
dots,
have to make that
no
clear.
Period, no spaces, no underscores.
But it's sketches. It's great. Do you want to tell the listeners more about it?
Yeah, it's sketches and it's great. We are trying to be more active on it. It's so hard to make sketches, but we have all kinds of old sketches, and sometimes we make short clips. Soon we're gonna make a mini series. So we We shall see.
Yay. I mean, also you are very, very funny, and if listeners, if you have the opportunity, you should always seek out a show with Miriam on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, should I have plugged comedy?
I mean,
I am.
Is that even a thing anymore?
Oh, I'm on the Boulder Comedy Festival.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
That's like the next biggest thing.
Yeah, when is that?
That is June 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Zach, you co-host the Movie Trap podcast.
Yeah, it's a different podcast I do. I have two for some reason. I should have zero. But this one's about movies. It's gamified. We like pick a topic on a theme. Recently, for instance, we did each of us has a connection to a different city, New York, Chicago, and LA. So we picked a movie to represent our city, and at the end we vote on who chose the best one, and the winner gets to pick the next topic, which can be anything. It could be a single actor or director. It could be like an idea, like isolation. That was our first one because we started during COVID, like beginning of the lockdown. You know,
what was your movie for your city?
I actually picked one I hadn't seen, Widows, which is
I love that movie.
Yeah,
you didn't like it.
I like it. I did enjoy it. Part of the reason I picked it was when I first moved to Chicago, it was filming not far from where I worked.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
That movie was done very well.
Yeah,
I really liked it.
Steve McQueen, he's a good at directing stuff.
He's good at doing this.
Yeah.
The Italian Steve McQueen.
Yeah. Stephen McQueen.
Oh, man. Listeners, you can also reach us at our website, revisionistpodcast.com. Click on the contact form, send us a letter. Maybe it's a love letter. Who knows? We have bad news for you, but, get your feelings out. You
Leave us a review on iTunes or another one.
Whatever podcast service you use. You can also find us on Instagram. Twitter, since potentially being bought by Elon Musk, our Twitter is no longer active.
But now maybe not. I don't know.
But now maybe not, because he probably never was going to do it anyway.
He's never going to pay for it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Not with his own money.
No. But we'll see how that goes. And then our Patreon, where
speaking of some snake oil salesmen.
Yeah.
Wait, are you
Take
referring
that,
to the
Musk?
Okay, I thought you meant the Patreon I was about to plug.
Oh, well,
for
that's
us.
Yeah.
You can pledge as little as $1 a month to help us keep the lights on. Even though we're on a hiatus for like a month and a fucking half. So it feels very weird to ask for that money. But yeah, I mean, if you are so inclined and you've run out of better causes to support, like say your local abortion fund, yeah, kick $1 a month our stupid, meaningless way. But yeah, also, listeners, look up your local abortion fund and fund it. Because
by yourself, you fund it. Nobody else, just you.
Everyone create a fund for abortions.
Yeah.
We're going to have 1 million abortion funds.
Mm-hmm.
But listeners, judgment falls to me this episode. And I find that, man, I do not like Apocalypse Now that much now that I think about it. Like, it's fine. I recognize that it's a good movie. I just don't like sitting down to watch it.
Yeah,
but
it's a heavy movie about Vietnam.
It is a heavy movie. I also find it kind of dull. Maybe because I've only seen the redo.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
But Zach, you also told that very well, and then you pulled kind of you pulled a big switcheroo at the end. But I think, despite that being very well done, I'm going to cast my vote for the actual history this time, But listeners, voting is now open on the
Oh, hell yeah.
on the aforementioned Patreon. And you can always participate in our last minute poll, which will be the 2 Wednesdays after this is released. So look for that on our Instagram feed on June 22nd. All right. It's getting very late, and I am very sleepy.
The Revisionist Podcast.
After
dark.
I have a baby, so this is I
Our
am
baby
usually
is sleepy.
in bed reading. Miriam, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is so fun.
Zach, thank you as always.
Yep, of course.
For everyone here at the Revisionists, I'm Brian Flynn.
I'm Zach Powers.
Have a good time. June 11th, 1509. Henry VIII marries his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, who remarks, "What do you mean first wife?" Jesus, I'm going to do this one. June 11th, 1805. A massive fire burns much of Detroit. A young Marshall Mathers Sr. warns residents that they have, quote, one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you can carry in one moment. Would you capture it or be destroyed in this giant fire?